the most intense controversies about Noah's Ark and the Great Flood. At the summit of a snow-covered mountain, more than 4,000 meters above sea level, explorers discovered a massive wooden structure silent and solemn amidst the desolate expanse of the Ararat mountain range. It was neither a house nor a timber storage, and it was certainly not a natural formation. What they found was rectangular, divided into compartments, and identical to the biblical description of Noah's Ark. Was it just a coincidence, or the first piece of evidence proving that the Great Flood and the stories recorded in the Bible are true? In April 2011, a discovery shocked the worlds of archaeology and religion. A joint team of researchers from China and Turkey announced they had uncovered a massive wooden structure buried under deep snow and ice on Mount Ararat, the site believed to be where Noah's Ark came to rest after the Great Flood, as told in the Bible. Mr. Yuan Wenhui, a member of the expedition, declared with 99% certainty, "This ruin is Noah's Ark from legend." This discovery reignited a centuries-long debate among theologians and geologists. Did the Great Flood in the Bible really happen? If so, it would not only validate the existence of this ancient cataclysm, but also raise the question, could other biblical stories about God, Adam, and Eve be historical facts rather than mere myths? In fact, this was not the first report of an ark-like object on Ararat. Back in 1916, a Russian pilot flying over the area reported seeing a dark object shaped like a massive ship. In 1949, a Turkish pilot took photographs of a similar structure about 150 meters long and 50 meters wide, matching the dimensions described in the Bible. Another notable milestone came when explorer Navarro found a piece of wood nearby. Scientific dating methods revealed the wood to be around 5,000 years old, corresponding to the period when the Great Flood is believed to have occurred. Even more puzzling to scientists, despite Mount Ararat's elevation of over 4,000 meters, marine fossils dating back 6,500 years have been found there. How did saltwater creatures end up on such a high mountain? The most plausible explanation: a global deluge and enormous Great Flood once swept over the Earth. If humans continue to investigate the mysterious blot on Mount Ararat, perhaps one day the truth of Noah's Ark will be fully revealed. In 2010, a joint archaeological team from China and Turkey officially launched an investigation into this centuries-old mystery. Their target, a massive wooden structure buried under snow and ice, located over 4,000 meters above sea level, believed to be the Ark's final resting place. Though initially met with skepticism, their astonishing findings began to shake people's assumptions that the tale was pure fiction. The structure they discovered was rectangular, stretching 157 meters long, made of wooden planks about 20 centimeters wide. Remarkably, the wood was reddish-brown, matching the Bible's description of gopher wood, from which Noah's Ark was made. Inside, they found complex structural features, evidence that it was not a natural formation. The wood was polished smooth, bore signs of manual carving, and included wooden shelves, stairs, door frames, and windows, all remarkably intact after thousands of years. Carbon dating placed the wood at around 4,800 years old, matching the timeline of the biblical flood. The interior was divided into 7 rooms across 3 levels: upper, middle, and lower, exactly as described in the Bible. The largest room was 10 meters long and 5 meters high, entirely wooden. When tapped, the wood echoed sharply and firmly as if the structure were still alive. On the floor, they discovered ancient pottery, wooden pegs, and traces suggesting it once housed animals. Especially intriguing were the shelves along the walls, which researchers believe were used to store food and water for a long survival voyage. As the team ventured deeper into the center of the structure, dangerous terrain and avalanche risks forced them to stop the expedition. However, before withdrawing, they captured a photograph from inside, one that sent shockwaves through the global scientific community. Everything in the image, location, size, elevation, shape, aligned perfectly with the Bible's description of Noah's Ark. According to the Bible, the ark came to rest on a high mountain in Turkey, was rectangular in shape, and lay tilted down. That is exactly what they found atop Mount Ararat. As of October 2023, scientists continued analyzing samples from the site. Results showed the wood and surrounding soil contained clay, marine minerals, and even fossils of sea creatures. This raises a crucial question. How did saltwater species end up on the top of a mountain? Could it be that a massive global flood once engulfed the entire Earth? Skeptics argue that the structure might be a coincidental construction by ancient locals. However, on-site investigations refute this idea. The local population mainly consisted of shepherds, living in simple mud brick houses with no tradition of building wooden floors, let alone a massive, complex structure in such a treacherous location. Moreover, according to the director of the Department of Culture, Acre Province, Turkey, ancient records over 2,000 years old and oral traditions all point to one thing. A giant ship once landed atop Mount Ararat to escape the Great Flood. Due to the harsh terrain, thick snow, and life-threatening avalanche risks, the expedition was temporarily halted before the entire structure to be fully explored. But just before leaving, they captured a final image from inside down. That single photograph left the world stunned, because everything in the image matched the legendary description of Noah's Ark in the Bible. If this truly is Noah's Ark, if a global flood once swept away ancient civilizations, then perhaps the stories in the Bible from Adam and Eve to Genesis are forgotten history, not just myth. What about you? Do you believe Noah's Ark truly existed? Let's explore more in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the secrets waiting to be revealed.